Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another piece of pixel art. This time, I'm going to be showing you how to make Stan from South Park, the final piece of our South Park puzzle. I've shown you guys how to make Kenny, Cartman, and Kyle. It's only Stan that remains, and I wanted to get him knocked out whilst he was still fresh on my mind before we ended up with a situation like we did with Kyle, in which it took me a year in between making him and the other two guys. So, if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need sandstone, black wool, brown wool, all of the blues, white, red wool, and finally, Neverbrick. Luckily for us, those are the only colours that we're going to be needing, as we've just run out of room. So once you've got those, and once you've figured out where you want to make them, I'm going to be making them right here. You're going to want to start this off with a row of 11 black wool in a row on the floor. 11, 1, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. To give you the base of Stan's feet. So once you've got your row of 11, is what you want to do. And this is somewhat tricky to explain. So you're going to want to do a row of 5 black wool coming up from the second block in from the end of each row. So the second block in, you're going to want to do a row of 5 going straight up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This may seem a little familiar to those of you that have recently made Kyle. They're somewhat similar, so you're just going to want to end up with a shape that looks like a flipped over table. So you want to have that. What you then want to do, once you've done that, is find the middle block of your row of 11, which should be this block right here. There's no need to count it out, although there should just be 3 blocks either side of the middle block if you want to get methodical. Just eyeball it, and on top of this middle block of 11, you're going to want to go up this time by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just one higher than you did with the other 2 rows. What you then want to do, from the top of your row of 6, either side, you just want to extend out this top block by 2 either side. So 1, 2, and on the other side as well, 1, 2, to give you a T shape. We no longer have a table, this is now a shape that I don't recognise. So once you've got your T, and we have to do this on either side, so which side? I'll go the right side this time. I very rarely start with the right side. So on the right side of our edge of our T, you just want to do an upright diagonal, go to the right by 2, 1, 2, and then up 1 to give you that sort of shape. And you want to do the exact same shape on the other side as well, except mirrored, obviously. So from the left-hand side, do an up-left diagonal, go to the left by 2, 1, 2, and then up 1. So now you should be left with this really weird, unrecognizable shape. I don't know what this is at all. So once you've done that, it's time for us to finish off this little lower section here, and then we can move on our way up to the head. So pause this if necessary, of course. Make sure that's what you have. Once you have, here's what we're doing. So this is somewhat difficult to explain as well, as it was on the Kyle Kyle pixel art. But here's what you want to do. From this block here, the second block up in our row of 6, you just want to extend this out either side until you hit the other 2 rows of the outline. So you just want to have a kind of cross shape like that. What you then want to do is continuing the line that you've just made, except coming out the other side. You're just going to want to come out the other side by 2, so like this. I can't think of a better way to explain it, but it should be fairly obvious to you guys what I'm doing anyway. So you now want to have something which should look like that. What you then want to do, and we will start with the, you know what, we're going to go right side again. Why not? Why not? Let's get crazy in here. So from the little row of 2 that you've just made on the right side, you want to do an upright diagonal, go up by 2, 1, 2, and then do an up left diagonal to form what will be Stan's arm. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, you want to go and do the exact same thing on the other side. So over here, our little ledge, do an up left diagonal, 2 on top, and then an upright diagonal to connect outline to outline to give you what is now Stan's lower body. You may be able to see his legs in there, and you've got his jacket and his arms out to the side a little bit. That is Stan's lower body. Kind of halfway done already. That is probably the most difficult portion of this, believe it or not. So once you've done that, and pause that if necessary, of course, it's time for us to move up the head a little bit. So let's come up here. We'll start on the left side this time. Every time I go to the right side, it hurts my brain a little bit, so we'll start on the left. And starting from here, this little weird shape, this sideways J shape, from the top of this, do an up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Do another up left diagonal. Place 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do an upright diagonal. Place 1 on top. Do 2 upright diagonals. 1, 2. Place 1 going right. Do an upright diagonal. 1 on top. Upright diagonal. 1 going right. Do a bottom right diagonal. Go one doing down. That makes no sense whatsoever. Do 1 going down. And then do a bottom left diagonal and place 1 to the left. Wow. The speech is strong today, guys. The speech is strong. English, primary language, I'm proud. So that is what you just want to have done. That is the side of Stan's head, a little bit of his cap, and the little bubble that's on top of his head. So pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be building up a little bit on the other side. We're going to join this together. You know how I like harmony. So on the other side here, now we have our little sideways L shape. From this top point here, as you did on the other side, you want to do an upright diagonal. We're pretty much just mirroring what we've done on that side, by the way. Do an upright diagonal, place 1 on top, then another upright diagonal, place 4 on top. This may sound familiar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do an up left diagonal, 1 on top. Do 2 up left diagonals, so 1 and 2. Place 1 going left, and then finally do an up left diagonal, which is just placing a block right here. So you're just going to want to have something which should look a little bit like that. That's not too complicated whatsoever, is it? So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. And let me just show you that overall, because some of you may be thinking, oh, that's not even, he's went wrong. No, it's actually supposed to look like that. On the right hand side, next to the little bubble, there's supposed to be that block there. Don't worry, you've done it right if it looks like that. So once you've done that, we've just got to do the, I suppose, like the brim of the hat. So where is that? It's right there. So once you have reached this point, and as I said, pause this if necessary, of course, I say that out of habit, you're going to want to come over to the left hand side of the head here, where we have this row of 5. And starting from the top, second block down, so this block that I'm hovering over right here, you're going to want to go to the right by 2, so 1, 2, and then you want to do an upright diagonal. And once you've done that, you just want to leave it at that. We'll just make it easy, we don't want any counting. So go over to the other side now, and do the exact same thing on this side. So, row of 5, second block down, coming out to the left, go out by 2, and then do an up left diagonal. And then all you want to do is connect the 2 blocks, the 2 diagonals that you did together to give you the bottom of Stan's hat. I don't know what to call that thing, but the separation of the hat and Stan's face. So, alright, so that is what you want for the entire outline of Stan's head. Pause that if necessary, of course. Let me show you what you want to have once it's all put together. So, this is Stan's entire outline. Pause this if necessary, of course. Make sure that yours looks exactly like this. Once you've reached this point right here, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to do my favourite part, and that's colouring in. So I'm going to do a little bit of colouring in whilst I explain how this is going to work. So, how I like to show you guys how to add colour to these pixel art creations is I like to do it in one of 2 ways. I either like to add in all of one colour and then show you guys the end result, or I like to do what I'm doing now and split a pixel art into sections and then show you what each individual section looks like once it's filled in with colour. So, for instance, this is what Stan's entire lower body looks like once it's coloured in. Pause this if necessary, apply what you see on mine onto yours. You guys should have no trouble doing that whatsoever. It's a very small section. All of the colours pretty much exist next to the outline. You should have no trouble guessing where any of that goes. Once you've done that, it's time for us to move up to the head. Or the face, in this case. Oh, laying those rhymes down. So, the face is ever so slightly more difficult than any other part of this. However, it's still not hard. So, It does require a little bit of thinking, though. I may say some stupid stuff whilst I just figure out where I'm placing some of these blocks, or I may just ramble incessantly to cover airtime whilst I just figure this out. There we go, absolutely sorted. So, as I was saying, on a less rambly and more meaningful note, yeah, that's right. The reason that I colour stuff in like this is because I found in the past, if I try to explain thoroughly what I'm doing with colour, I end up just rambling on like crazy, like I just have done then. And it doesn't really add to the tutorial, and it just makes things like 50 minutes longer than it has to be, and it's of no real benefit, whereas I can just do this. This is Stan's entire face. And you guys should have no trouble whatsoever in just looking at that and applying it to yours. It's not too hard. I'm sure that you guys will manage that, so that is Stan's entire face. Pause that if necessary. Let's move on to the hat. So the hat is the final part of this, and this is where the Netherbrick comes in. So, the reason that we have Netherbrick is it's just a darker shade of red, that's what it's supposed to be. And I'm not entirely convinced that this looks better with the Netherbrick, so it really is a choice of yours whether you want to just use plain red wool for all of the red sections, or whether you want to throw the Netherbrick in there. I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but I'm going to be throwing in the Netherbrick for this particular one, so let me just do this. The only difficult bit that you may have to guess, but it's actually not too hard because you can just use the face to line it up, is this number of Netherbrick, in which case it's just 3 here, and maybe just do that. I mean, all of the other detailing exists next to the outline, so it's really not too hard whatsoever, so let's just add this in, fill in the hat. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced on the Netherbrick. I mean, sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. I'm not sure which case this is exactly, but as I said, it's up to you. You guys can try it in just completely red if you like. I tried it, not entirely sure, but that is Stan's entire hat. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, well, you guys know what time it is. It's time for us to bask in the glow of Stan's finished pixel art. Look at it. Look how glorious that is. Look how happy. Well, he doesn't look particularly happy. He looks kind of neutral, but that is Stan once he's entirely put together, once his outline's been done, once all of the colours thrown in there. You should be left with something that should look a little bit like that. So well done if yours looks like that. Hopefully you guys didn't have too much trouble making him. I hope. That's always the hope. I know the colouring in process can sometimes be a little difficult, but I don't think this is one of the cases, so hope it was easy enough to follow. And before I sign off, actually, I will say I am willing to make more South Park stuff. I know that at the beginning of the video I said that this was the final link in the chain, or whatever phrasing I used, but I'm more than open to doing more South Park stuff. They're not too hard to make. A lot of them follow the same sort of outline, so feel free to leave your suggestions below. I do read them, believe it or not. I don't always answer. Sometimes, if I go on an answering spree, I end up spending like 2 hours in the comments, and, you know, I just get lost in there. So, thanks for watching, I hope it was easy enough to follow, and see you in the next one. Probably a statue. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.